get it going.
Mm-hmm. Oh, got a phone call.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, welcome to iCare, iMove. This is Move More Reimagined and we're on week 22. So 4 weeks, including this week to go. So stepping it up. Last week we stepped it right up, didn't we? So we're going to be including more wall work today. So make sure you've got space around you and that you can move your devices if you need to, move your laptop so that we can still see you. It's really important that we can just have eyes on you. Make sure you've got a drink ready and do what you can as always, and if you're not feeling 100% today, then take the adjustments, take on board the adaptations that we offer you. So do use them to your advantage. And if you need to sit down at any point, please do. Just remember to keep moving, keep pumping your heels so that you don't feel dizzy. Okay, so let's start by thinking about great posture. So coming from a slouch position maybe, we're going to stay in the chair for this little bit just for a short time, and we're going to start with our sway. So feet are wide, wider than your hips. And we're going to focus on posture while we're swaying. So feet wide to make you stable, feet slightly further forwards than your knees. We're lifting up one cheek and then the other. Pull those muscles in the belly in, relax the shoulders, but lift through the chest. Okay, and breathe. So trying to keep your chin in line with the floor so it's parallel to the floor. And let's see some bigger movements. So we're watching you on Zoom. We can see some of you might be just making small movements. That's fine. If you can, let's make it bigger. So really working through the hip joints, through the lower back and thinking about posture. So let's hold it here. Just hold and lift again. Breathe, relax your shoulders. We're going to come into some shoulder raises. So shoulder lifts, lift up the shoulders and gently drop down. So no big clunky movement. So lift again, right up to your ears. Send the hands down by your sides and really push those fingers down towards the floor. Lift, keep going and push down behind you as well. Push the shoulder blades down. Lovely. Try not to hold your breath. I know some of you do. So, oh, and happy Monday morning. What a way to start your week, eh? Getting in your hours of exercise, before you even do anything. Lovely. Okay, coming into some circulation boost by lifting one heel and then the other. So lift and lower, squeezing the blood up your calves to your heart, to your brain. Warming up your body. So really focusing on lifting the heels now. So lift. And you might think we've done this for weeks. Your warm up and circulation boost has got to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same, but it's the same principle. We've got to warm up all your muscles and joints before we make those bigger movements. Keep breathing. Okay, into a shoulder roll, so a circle. Lift your shoulders up to your ears, all the way back and down. I'll show you from the side again. So lift up, all the way back, and your hands should end behind your hips, really. Lift up, back and down. And again, you might get some crunches and some funny movements, some funny noises. Don't worry, as long as it's not painful, that's okay. They should reduce as we make some movements. Lovely. And then back to your heel lift. Now we're going to add in the arms as well. So opposite hand to knee. See how you get on. I know some of you have been doing this for weeks and weeks and we still can't get opposite hand to knee. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Honestly, don't overthink it. Most importantly, relax the shoulders. So taking that tension out of the shoulders. Lovely. Okay, keep the feet still. Let's do a little push-pull. So a little rotation through the waist, sending one hand forwards, one elbow back. If you don't quite like that or it's too much, sliding the hands up and down the thighs, going only within your own range of mobility. So if it feels really painful, then make it smaller. If you're okay, take your eye gaze with you over that shoulder. Feel that lovely stretch.
Don't be afraid. Slow it down and look over your shoulders, please. If this makes you feel dizzy, then obviously eyes front. But it's important to get that rotation at the neck and shoulders. Thank you. Slow it down. My mum would be going, oh, it makes me giddy.
Yeah, keep looking forwards if it does. You might not be able to get your shoulders a bit as far, but that's fine.
Look at
We're
Katie
looking
Plymouth.
at
Look at her little smiley face.
we're looking at this movement through the ribs, through the waist. Okay, and back to your march, your little seated heel lift, a little pedal of those feet. So getting a bit warmer every time we start coming into this movement. Okay, where are your hands? Are they coming up to your ears and back down to your hips? And are your elbows kind of sliding? Can you hear them brushing your ribs? So trying to get them in front. So that, what's the difference? If my arms are kind of going across here, I don't get very much movement through my shoulders, but if I'm here, I'm getting a lovely movement through my shoulders. Okay, feet wide, hands down by your sides, lift up through your chest. If you need to just have a little breather, that's fine. Hands down, we're going to lean to one side, use the muscles in your core and your belly to pull you up and reset. Sliding down, coming up, sliding down, coming up. So why do we do this? Picking things up off the floor that are at the side of you. Now, wide feet. If I didn't have wide feet, then I could quite easily fall off the side of the chair. So stable base of support always. Keep breathing. Relax your shoulders. So trying to keep your head in line with your body, not kind of dropping it to the side. So protecting your neck. Couple more each side. And then we're going to march again. So just into that heel lift and arms. How are you getting on with those opposite arms? Now I'm going to come into standing for the next part of your warm up and mobility. So we're going to hip walk forwards in the chair. We're going to stand up. We're going to come back to seated though in a minute. I just want to work through the warm up with you. So standing up.
We've got a couple of joiners that are late, so make sure you are mobile as you join in, and that you are that you're ready to be nice and warmed up. Okay.
So if you want to stay sitting, if you've just joined us, please feel free. I'm going to walk behind my chair. So find your support, whether that's your worktop or your wall, a chair, and we're going to come down to the feet. So working through ankle mobility is really important. So the leg furthest away from my chair I'm going to work on. So my supporting leg, my knee is soft and my toes are spread out. I'm going to take my heel down and then I'm going to lift and put my toes down. If we could move to foot camera, please, Owen, if that's okay. Thank you. So heel, toes lift up, toes push down, heel lifts up. And we're trying to get on the same spot because that increases the mobility through the foot, through the front of the ankle, through the ankle really, through the front of the ankle, through the back of the ankle, through the Achilles. So lifting and lowering. If you can lift your knee up a little bit, even better. So can you really squeeze the toes up? Can you really kind of push the foot forwards? Lovely. You can do this in sitting. It's exactly the same. If it's too uncomfortable in sitting, you can always come into a foot circle. Okay, let's swap sides, shall we? So you can either march around or just turn. Make sure you've got something to support you. Lovely. So other leg, heel and toe. And you might feel that into your calf muscles straight away or into the front of the shins. Lovely, good. So heel, toe, same principle. At first you might want to look at your spot, but then please don't. Please stand upright. Remember your centre of gravity. If I'm leaning forwards, looking down, I'm more likely to fall forwards. So heel and toe, heel and toe. Keep going. It might feel more stiff on one side. Is your supporting knee soft? Really protect those legs, those knees by not locking them out. So heel, toe. Really squeeze those toes and really push the foot forwards. Why do we do this? Because soon we're going to be lunging. You keep going. I can't lunge properly if I haven't moved my ankle and warmed it up. You'll be making smaller steps and it'll be uncomfortable. Okay, let's come into a standing march now. Same principles, lift through the chest, think about your posture. Keep breathing. You can always hold on with both hands. You can march with one hand, swinging, with the other, or unsupported if you're confident enough to march without. So, lovely, good. So, can you hear your feet? So, I can hear my foot quietly. You shouldn't hear a stamp. That means you're coming down flat-footed. So heel toe, that lovely foot placement, which is why we've just warmed up the ankles. Good. How do you feel? Are we okay?
Breathless?
Okay. So we're going to come into some hips, some lower back movement. So we're going to soften through the knees. I'll show you sideways. I'm going to send my hips to one side and then forwards in a semicircle to the centre, and then to the other side, forwards, centre. So it's like half a hula hoop. Side, forwards, centre. And remember, soft knees. You hardly get any movement if you've got stiff knees. So working through the hips, the lower back, slowly. So the movement is the hips, your shoulders aren't really moving. Eye gaze is forwards. That's it. David, try and bend your knees and just move your hips. So side, forwards. And it can be quite, you need to focus really, is what I'm saying. You need to focus really, because otherwise it's only half a movement. Okay, and come back to your march. Gentle march. Lovely. So we're going to start making it bigger. So we're going to work on endurance next. So at any point you can hold onto the chair. You can sit down and keep your heels moving, your feet moving, your arms moving. If you're really tired, take the arms out. Keep them still or hold on to something, but keep the feet moving. Okay, so we're going to step it up. I'll show you with my chair in front of me. So I'm going to step, touch. So step together, step together. So smaller movements building up to larger movements. Again, if you're holding onto your chair, slide the hands across the chair so that you've still got that support if you need to. Don't hold on for dear life, okay? Remember, posture, breathe. Slide and step, step together. And remember that foot placement, toe heel, peeling up, heel toe. Lovely. Good. Okay, we're going to change. We're going to lift that leg and then lift the second leg. So up and over, you're stepping over something. Stepping over it and stepping over with the second foot. You don't want to kick it with that second leg, okay? Up and over, lifting the legs up from the hip. You okay, David? Hold on if you need to. Yep. Eye gaze forwards. So remember, if you're looking down, you're more likely to topple forward. So relax the shoulders. You can make it even slower. Make sure you're breathing.
Maggie's giving it welly.
Maggie always gives it welly.
Good.
Maggie has a little jig as well, I think.
Jeff's doing well as well.
Fabulous.
And as for AGK over
I know, they're amazing.
Newquay,
And they got a new gentleman
I got
there
a fist
as well.
pump then, and I saw that. I was
Yay.
like, yes, get it.
That's it. How do we feel? How do your legs feel? You might get out of breath in endurance. You might get a little bit puffed out. That's okay, as long as you could say back to me, if I said, are you okay? You could say, yeah, I'm okay, Pat. Not, you can't speak. Or tum-ti-tum, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, march, recovery. Take a deep breath if you need to. Coming into a lunge. So just watch to start with. I'm going to pop my chair in front. So I'm stepping to the outside of my chair, stepping back. And make sure that when you're stepping forwards, you could hold onto your chair or your support. So step forwards, push back. Now, if you're feeling confident, you could maybe take a bigger step and use the power in your legs to really push back and come to that standing point. So here, so heel, whole foot, big push off. Heel, whole foot, big push. Again, you don't need to do it fast and you don't need to take a big step. If you want to just make a small step, that's fine. Keep going. If you're seated, you've hip walked to the front third of your chair, step and lean forwards, step and lean forwards. Or you could come into that staggered bunny hop that I love here. And you get that work through the thighs still. Keep going. So now we're at week 22. We are continuing. We've added on the length of these movements. So a progression. Great. Can you keep going a little bit longer? If you need to stop and rest, do. You can stand and just lift those heels, pedal the heels to recover. You know that you can do that at any time.
Owen, are you there?
Good.
Can you let in the people in our waiting room, please?
Lovely. And then
Lovely.
to a heel lift. So a gentle recovery. So not into a march, just lifting the heels, allowing your heart rates to just drop down a little bit. Oh, take a deep breath. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to come into some little knee bends. You know they're my favourite. Are they your favourite yet? I reckon they are. So feet are wider than hips. If you can pop your toes out a little bit, that's good. If not, don't worry. Or, you know, we've practiced this so much. You know where your feet need to be for you to do it properly, for that lovely technique. Some people need toes forwards and slightly further in. So we're going to bend the knees, stick the bottom out, and just bend to come up, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the bottom, and lift. Lower. Eye gaze is forwards, but your eye gaze drops as you lower. So, big squeeze. Remember, where are those knees pointing? Over your toes. So they're not coming in, you're not knock-kneed. You're really squeezing those knees outwards. Squeeze the bottom. Lovely. Why do we do this? Sitting, down, getting up off chairs, toilets.
Hilary, beautiful form.
In
Lovely.
and out the car.
Eye gaze forward though, team.
Try it. Try it with your toes forwards. Feet under your hips. See if that's better for you. Depends on your skeleton really, on your pelvic structure. Lovely. Eye gaze. So my eye gaze is about 45 degrees, and as I bend down, it follows me. If you've had enough, if you've done enough, stop and pedal those heels for me. You're so good at these. Honestly, we brag about you all the time. You can squat for Britain. Right, come up, lift those heels, recover. And we're going to go into Fartlek. Yay! So, 3 rounds. Interval training. You know the rules, but I'll go over them. So, thinking about your energy levels, keep your feet moving while we're doing this, while I'm explaining. Energy levels 0 to 10. 0 is you've just got out of bed. 10 is you've just run a marathon. We need your levels to be about 6 or 7. So you should be able to say after 1 round, I'm okay, I'm a little bit puffed out, but I'm okay to carry on. If at any point you need to lower your movements, then lower the arms, take out the arms, make the legs smaller, stop and just lift the heels. You can sit down, but keep the feet moving. If you're sitting down, I'll show you an alternative. So, 3 rounds. We're going to come back into lunges, okay? So we've practiced, we've warmed up. So I want to see big movements, and I'll count you in and I'll count you down again. Okay, so we're going to go, and I'll demonstrate, just watch first. So big lunge, push back, big lunge. If you've just joined us, please just warm up. Please don't take part in Fartlek. Come into some lunges, but don't time.
Thanks,
you can
Erin.
keep going throughout, okay? Obviously you can rest if you need to. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Big push, big step if you can. We've got eyes on you, so keep breathing. Big push off. If you want to add a little arm bend, a little bicep curl, you can. Lovely. You've got 3, 2, 1, and lift those heels just very gently. Very little movement of the body here. You're just peeling your feet up, peeling the heels up, getting your breath.
Use your breath, guys.
Where are your energy levels? Are you 4, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, even 8? If you're 8, take it down. 2 more rounds. So we need to make sure that you've got enough energy to continue. If you're sitting, seated lunges like we did before, step forwards, lean in, or into those little sit to stand in a staggered stance. Ready to go again? If you need to sit, sit. If you need to make it smaller, make it smaller. We're going in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. So big step. I'm going to add in an arm. If you need to hold on with both, you can. So obviously no arms. Keep going. If you're seated here, big push up, swapping sides. Good. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1, and hold it there. Just lift the heels. Breathe. Where are your energy levels? Do you need to bring it down a bit? Do you need to make those movements smaller? Or are you barely kind of out of breath? Take it bigger. Make it bigger. Add in an arm movement. Breathe. Last round. So if you can make the movements the same, do. If you need to adapt or sit down, that's fine as well. Okay, last round. I'm going to step back away from my chair so that I can make some bigger movements but still be safe, so that I can hold my chair if I need to, or press on it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So a big step and a push back. Make sure you're steady as you push back. So coming into that wide base of support still. Lovely. Can you add an arm? You don't have to. Big push off, strong. Good. Lovely movements there.
You're looking good.
Fabulous. Make sure you're doing those little bunny hops, staggered. If you're seated, 3, 2, 1, and march. Lift the heels. Oh, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Think about your energy levels. Just clock them. It's really good to notice where you were a few weeks ago to now. And it might be that when we're doing those movements, you're still at a 7, but it might be that you recover now quicker and you might be able to breathe better. And if we were doing a 4th round, you might be ready to do another round. Okay, let's do a double step. So step together if you're able to. If you need to just stay with the march, stay with the march. But we're bringing the heart rate down slowly, carefully. Step together, step together. So small lifts of the leg. You don't need to step over. Step together. Good. Fabulous. Keep going. You should feel your breath coming back to normal. It might take another couple of minutes. That's fine. Step together. Good. Okay, we're going to come into a single step. Breathe, relax your shoulders. That's the worst bit, isn't it? Or is it the strength bit coming up? or the balance? Depends what you've got going on. They're the bits you need to practice for your homework that we nag you about every week. Okay, take your feet wide into that lovely wide base sway. If you can, both hands push up. Don't worry if you need to just come into one hand. So feet wide, transferring your body weight from one foot to the other. Two hands, and then one hand. So holding on if you need to. Can you breathe better? Can you talk? Can you go, yeah, Pat, I'm okay? No hands, just a sway. We love the sway, don't we? You can do this anywhere. You can do it.
I love a sway.
We love a
The
sway.
sway is my favourite thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Dancing.
Nice and still, nice and still. Get a drink if you need to. We're going straight into balance, so stand in balance. So grab a sit down quickly if you're tired. I'll give you a second. Helps, could you just pass me the water, please? I need a quick slurp. Thank you. I can do that.
Don't laugh.
Sorry, excuse me. I've still got a bit of a dry throat going on. So, balance, one of our favourite parts. And we know that we need to challenge your balance to help you to improve. Again, seated is an option. If you need to sit, then sit. And you can always practice these in your own time. But let's work on, we're going to do some wall work, but we're going to work on, and we did this in our Totter class, single leg balance. We have to practice if you can. So seated, sit up in your chair and then lift one leg. Or pop the foot onto the other foot if you can't lift it. In standing, stand away from your chair so that it's there to support you if you need to. Spread the toes out in your shoes, soft knee. We're going to lift this leg up in front of you. Hover your hands or hold the chair, just use it to support you. And we just lift. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Count if you want to. Try and focus on a point somewhere that's a neutral eye gaze for you. Spread the toes out in the shoes or on the floor. Actually, I took my trainers off on Friday because it's much harder barefooted. Remember, how do we come out of this? If you were to wobble, that compensatory step out sideways. Oh, have a little wiggle jiggle. Give your hip a rub or your knee if you need to. Have a little march, and we're going to go again. So, can you count this time? I'll be quiet. I know I talk too much, but
She does talk a lot, doesn't she?
I'm just talking to you and explaining. So, let me just show you as well what happens when we're tired. The hip starts to stick out. You start to straighten, lock that knee out. Not good. So, bring that hip in. Alignment, lift up through the chest. Think posture, tuck your bottom under. See if that helps. Pelvic floor, really pull in that pelvic floor. Relax the shoulders. Hover that hand ready, and we're going to lift that leg. You're looking great. If you need to tap down, do. If you're sitting, keep going. When you need to step out, step out. Let's step out anyway. Da-dum. Nice and wide, nice and steady. So you come into that wide base of support. And from there you can go any way, forward, sideways, backwards. Okay, little march. Let's come on to the other side, shall we? So you can walk around your chair or go on the other side. So other side, and you might have one side that's way weaker or stronger than the other. It's fine. Let's work with our bodies. If you need to do an extra time on your weaker side, then do that in your homework or do it now.
I think I think they're practicing. I think
Do you? I hope so.
there's definitely a lovely. Definitely, you can see the improvement on the team.
So, and if you don't want to do a full leg lift, you can just lift the heel. Keep the foot on the floor and just lift the heel. Okay? So, ready to go again. Set yourself up. I'm going to lift my knee in front. I'm hovering my hand. Use your arms. Take them out if you need to. Relax your shoulders, eye gaze forwards or just 45 degrees. Or find a spot that doesn't move. Don't look at me because I'll be wobbly. Are your toes spread out? Good. Keep going. Rubbish this side. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Step out. Wiggle, jiggle. Wiggle your hips, knees, lower back. Move around in your chair if you need to. Let's go one more time. I only did half then. I did 2 halves. So whatever you do is fine. It's about progression. So if you can only hold, if you can't hold, if you can just take 1 foot or just a tap, that's fine. Keep practicing. Wherever you are in any of these movements is okay. We're all so different. It's working with what you've got. So, ready to go again. Remember, your hips might be tired, your knees, so lift up, posture check, shoulders back, breathe, ready, and lift. And if that's too uncomfortable for you, you can always lift your heel behind you. I cheated then. Breathe. Breathe. Have a rest, Violet, if you need to, lovely. You don't need to keep going. Good. And then we're going to step out. Fabulous. Compensatory step. Always, always step out nice and wide to recover, to compensate for that wobble. Fabulous. Right, we're going to come into our tandem. So a little bit more in balance, and then we'll go to strength. So we've been practicing this, haven't we? So tandem is 1 foot in front of the other, if you can. Now, we need to leave a little gap between your heel and your toe to make sure that you can lift that heel. Thanks, Owen. And then we take the other foot forwards. Now, that is the most progressive step. So if you can't manage that, small little pin steps with the joint of the big toe into the instep will take you into a wobbly state, into a less balanced state than the tandem. So whatever you want to do today is good. And it doesn't matter if you did more last week. Every week's different. So if you want to just rock and lift the heel, that's fine. We're just transferring weight. Lovely posture. Eye gaze forwards. So lots of different options. A little step. Remember, step out if you're wobbly. I'm going to turn around to face you so you can still see my feet. I'm holding onto my chair. If I wobble, I step out. And then you can step back. Lovely. Keep going. Keep going. Use those options. If you're seated, it's exactly the same. You can't travel so far, but you're leaning forwards. That's it. Good. Fabulous. And then let's come behind your chair again. So into our reach. Lovely reach. So we're going to have your support in front of you. Can we change cameras, Owen, please? Feet are nice and wide. So slightly wider than hips, if you can. And we're going to start by just reaching forwards with one hand, up and out. So not directly above your head. So transferring your weight onto the balls of your feet for now. Bring it down. If you've got shoulder problems, you might not be able to lift that high. That's fine. You can just lift forward. You can raise that arm forward. So if you can, a little bit higher. So as if you're reaching into a cupboard or, yeah, cupboard. I was going to say washing your car, but it's kind of further forward. So the next progression would be to come onto your toes. So leave the arms for now, just rise onto the toes, so onto the balls of the feet. Putting your weight into the big toe, second toe, to keep your ankle nice and stable, steady. Okay, it directs the weight into the center. So toes, and then come back. And make sure you're kind of away enough from your chair that you can support. You can use it to support you. In seated, again, lift the heels, take the feet slightly further forwards. And then we can add in a reach and transfer the weight. Come back down. So nice and slowly here. Reaching up with one hand, coming back down. Remember, tuck the pelvis, tuck the bottom under. Pull the belly in. breathe. Now, those of you that have been doing this for a while and are steady enough, you can use both hands, but only if you feel you're steady. We'll be watching you to make sure you're okay. So only do what you can do today. It doesn't matter if you could do it last week. If you don't feel able to do it today, that's fine. Weight through the big toe, second toe. Really important. You notice that your ankles are more wobbly if you don't do that. Lovely. Remember, you can always step forward still if you're wobbly, or rest. Good work, team. Lovely. And then bring those hands down. Just lift the heels. Roll out through the shoulders. Excellent. And we're going to come into a bit of strength. So normally I'd let you sit down, but we're going to go straight to the wall. So if you need a quick sit down and a drink, please do.
You right there, Beryl? Need a nap?
So
You're hot. Okay, give yourself a second.
Yeah.
Drink some water.
have a breather. You can watch anyway to start with. So I really want to practice side presses. Why do we do side wall presses? You know, don't you? To get you off the bed, off the floor. This is part of our getting off the floor, our backward chaining, as we come up off the floor sideways. Let me show you.
Oh.
So, if I was on the floor, how do we get up from this position? Top hand pushes down on the floor, thanks. We push up and come onto our elbow, don't we? And then we come onto our hip and hand. So, reversing it is this movement. So, practicing wall presses is this movement. And then to get up, we need to press through both our hands as we lift the hips here. Yeah, so to come to the chair, to lift the leg forwards, lunge, which we've just done, press up, bring that foot in, march your heels, come up to standing. So let's press against the wall. So hopefully you found a wall for now. So I'm going to go to this wall. Is that okay? Yeah. So to start with, I'm going to stand quite close to the wall. And then from there, you can work out where your feet need to be. So if I was to just stay here, I'm not going to get any workout. So I'm going to step away from the wall, and then I'm going to lean my shoulder. My outside hand comes to the wall, and I'm just going to press my body away and lower back onto the floor, back onto the wall. So keep practicing that, and you should feel that into the back of the arm, into the tricep muscle. So big push off. You can have a flat hand or onto your fingers. Push. Now slow it down as you come back down to the wall. Slow it down as you press off. Slow down. How about if you then come onto your elbow? Press, elbow. And that replicates, I'm going to step out a bit more. That replicates that movement onto the floor. So allow your body to come back down. So this is me pressing off the floor to come onto my elbow so that I can sit up onto my hip and then onto my hand. Hand back down, lower slowly. And that might be quite hard to lower slowly because we're really focusing on those muscles in the backs of the arms. Can you keep going just a couple more times? Keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. When we get tired, we hold our breath. Okay, shall we try the other side? So I'm just going to go onto the back wall here, so you can just turn around if you want to. So feet out again, and you decide where your feet go. Outside hand, so the hand that's not against the wall, presses against the wall to push your shoulder off, and then lower yourself back onto the wall, not the floor. Push off. Now I sent you out the backward chaining video a couple of weeks ago to practice on the bed or the floor. Some of you I know have done this on the floor, so you can practice this on your beds for your homework, or just if you've got a spare half an hour. Push it off, and you probably do this anyway to get out of bed, so just do it a few more times. And then that's a tick for your homework, or some of it. Big push. Okay, let's add in the elbow. So push the body off, elbow on the floor, on the wall, hand back on and lower yourself down slowly. Push off, elbow, hand down, lower down, slowly. Good. Good, and hopefully it should become easier. Now, you might want to step out a little bit if you go, that's too easy. Step your feet out a little bit. That's much harder. What we're doing is we're loading our weight through these bones, through your hands, your wrists, shoulders. Really building up strength, density through the bones, muscle strength. Really great for bone health. Okay, and then let's just come out of that. So we're going to come into seated. So sit down and make sure you've got your bands, because we're going to continue. So that was part of your strength. Let's continue with strength. And make sure you sit forwards. Oh yeah, I forgot that. So,
Got what?
I forgot this, I'm going to do it now. So make sure you hold your bands, but we're going to hip walk. Hip walk is strength. So sway, lift and shift your bottom forwards in the chair, and then lift and shift backwards. So I should see your whole body's moving side to side. Those that are sitting can do this as well. It's the same. So lift and shift. Why do we do this? Because we don't want you sitting out of your chair like that. Okay, I'll show you from the side. We don't want any of this. Okay, to get forwards in your chair, you hip walk. So start lifting the feet to move backwards and forwards. And we know, don't we, that using the hip walk, if you were on the floor, you could always hip walk to a place of safety, to a phone, to a window, to a door. So keep going. And you might say, oh, this is okay, it doesn't feel too bad. But if you've been doing it for a while, it starts to get harder. That's it. So nice wide feet. Lifting and shifting. Da, da, da. And then we're going to come forwards in the chair and stay at that front third of the chair. Okay, so let's work through back of leg strength. So we're going to take the band in both hands, pop it under your foot, about the ball of the foot. I'm going to go sideways. Don't you go sideways, I'm just demonstrating. So we've done this lots of times. So you're going to hold the band about where your knee is. Thank you. You're going to lift the knee, bring the hands to your hips and keep the hands there, relax the shoulders. You're going to send the foot forward, straighten off the leg, and the heel comes almost to the floor. You can rest it there if you need to. Lift up, bend the knee, straighten off the leg. Lift up, straighten, lift. So try and make the toes point upwards to the ceiling. Squeeze the thighs here as you straighten. Squeeze the thighs, the kneecap lifts up, really strong into the legs. And then hold it down. Let's lift up and down just a few times. Nice straight leg. And then we're going to drop the heel and just slide out and in, out and in. Lovely little hip abduction here. Out and in, out and in. And then
Try and keep the knee extended. So try and go for a straight leg. That's it, Max. Lovely.
if you're not on the front third of your chair, you won't be able to straighten your legs. So it might be that you just shift your bottom a bit further forwards. Okay, let's swap legs. And so eye gaze forwards as you pop that band underneath your foot. So if you're looking down, again, always thinking about making it less likely for you to fall over. So eye gaze up, lifted as you pop that band under. Okay, hold on about the knee. If you need to make it tighter, stronger, you can always hold further down. If that's too much, you can always hold higher up. But about the knee. Lift up that knee, pin the hands to the hips to take out any work through the shoulders. Now what happens is your tendency is for that knee to drop out. So I'm going to bring that knee in. Ooh, that looks odd there. So straighten the leg, squeeze the thighs, lift, straighten, and lift. And you don't need to lift this high. If you need to drop your knee a little bit and bend and straighten, you can. So lift and lower. Keep breathing. Relax your shoulders. As you get tired, your shoulders kind of crunch up to your ears. Lovely. A few more. Lift. Squeeze the thighs. Really squeeze them. Lovely. One more if you can. Okay, we're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. 4, 3 if you can. Don't worry if you can't do all of them. And 1. And then we're going to just drop the heel, slide out slightly. If you've got a hip replacement or you feel any tightness, just go with where it feels comfortable. But it's great to be able to take these legs outwards. Lovely. And then bring that back in. Take the band out. And let's come into some biceps. So pop the band under your knees, both knees, hands at your thighs, so down by the sides of your legs. Think posture, feet wide and slightly forward. So relax the shoulders. And the bands are kind of poking out through the top of the hand here. And we're going to just, with palms facing in, lift. Oh, that's a bit tight. I can feel that. So lift towards the shoulder. I'll show you from the side in a second. And lower down slowly. Don't let it just ping back. Other side. Lift and lower. I'll show you from the side here. So lift. My elbow stays stuck in to the side. So we're really targeting
Owen, can you let
that
Trudy in?
bicep muscle. So lift and lower. Lift, slowly, slowly, and lower. Good. Lift and lower. Good, good. How does that feel? Do you need a heavier band? Do you need a stronger band? Or no, do you need to make it shorter to make it harder? Okay, let's hold it up. Little tiny pulses just on one side. 4, 3, 2, other side. Lift and hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, only if you can, 2, rest. Lovely. Let's get rid of the bands. We do a little stretch and then some Tai Chi, adapted Tai Chi. So let's stretch through the legs. One foot out in front of you, toes are up to the ceiling. Take the other foot so that the heel ankle is underneath your knee. Hands on the thigh, and you're going to hinge forwards from the hip. So keeping the back nice and neutral, and eye gaze neutral as well. So kind of about 45 degrees in front of you. And toes need to be pointing up to the ceiling so that you stretch the back of the thigh, the back of the knee. And if you can't feel it, take a breath in and just lean a little bit more into that stretch. I know you've been doing this for a long time, so you might need that extra stretch. Keep the heel there, and we're going to sit up. Just wiggle off the foot and then squeeze the toes up towards the knee for that calf stretch. Fabulous. And then let's swap sides, thanks. So swapping sides, heel under knee, other leg goes out. And again, you need to be on the edge of the front third of your chair, not on the edge. Hinge from the hip, lean forwards. Toes are up. If your toes are out, you're not stretching the right muscles. So keep breathing. Again, if you need a bigger stretch, take a breath in, and a bit bigger lean in. You don't need to though. If you feel that stretch and you're just leaning slightly, that's fine. Okay, keep the heel there, sitting upright, relax off the foot, and then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. Fabulous. And then let's stretch out the arms. So feet wide again. Take one hand to the opposite shoulder, and if that's enough for you, that's good, you can stay there. Otherwise, support the arm at the back of the arm and just bring that arm closer to the body, and then just lift up the chest. Breathe. Feet nice and wide, because we're going to take that hand to the shoulder, same shoulder, lift the elbow, lift the chest to bring that arm up if you can. If you're able to, take that arm up and then over your head, whichever way that might be. And then coming out of that stretch by leaning forwards and out. Other side, hand to the opposite shoulder. Support the arm, bring it across your body, lift the chest. Keep breathing. You know we're coming to the nice bit now. Hand to the shoulder, lift the elbow, trying to get the hand in between the shoulder blades. And we'll be sending out the forms for assessments very soon, so look out for them in the post. So this is one of our regular assessments, isn't it? So hand comes up and then over your head, slight lean, so you feel a stretch into the muscles down the side, into the waist, and then come out of that stretch. Hands just come behind you, squeeze the elbows together or hold onto the back of the chair. Just lift the chin slightly and breathe. And then let's come into Tai Chi. So seated if you want to, standing. So stand up carefully, safely. I'm going to move my chair, but you can use your chair the whole time. So we're going to pop our feet nice and wide. And we're going to soften the knees, relax the shoulders, and just join in whenever you're standing. Okay, fingertips come together. And we push down. And if you can, bend the knees. If not, don't worry, but just keep them soft. So lift and lower. If you can match your breath with the movements, then even better. But don't stress about it. Don't worry too much about it. Just enjoy it. Relax the shoulders. In seated, feet nice and wide. And one more. Then we're going to take one foot forwards and bring the other foot behind, so you're in like a T shape. And then we're going to bend the knees and into our row. So hands come forwards, pull back to the waist as we take the weight into that back leg. Forwards, and only reach to your ability. I don't want you overreaching, so it should be a smooth, natural movement. So just within your shoulder mobility, so just a small movement. So up and over, down and under. Up and over, down. Then we're going to go opposite direction. Under, up, and back to the waist. Under, up and back. Lovely. Keep breathing. And then let's change legs. So step nice and wide. Relax if you need to. Just wiggle out. Take the other foot forwards and the other heel tucks in. And then transfer the weight forwards and back. And take your eye gaze in the direction that your knee is going. So again, into that row, pull back. Over and under. Good. Seated, exactly the same. Taking your feet into the diagonal. Slow, controlled movements. Let's go one more, and then we're going to reverse. So under and back to the waist. Adjust your feet if you need to. Lovely. And then last one. Feet nice and wide. Bring those hands together. Just lift to shoulder height. Push to me. So if you can, draw up. Fingers and thumbs together, so first finger and thumb. Up, lift. Breathing out on that push away if you can. Don't worry, don't overthink. I've got squeaky trainers. And let's do one more. And then just lift and lower. So lift and lower. Lift and lower. Two more. And last one. And then we're going to take a seat in your chair, ready for relaxation, your favourite bit. Sit down carefully, feel the chair behind your knees. Slowly sit down, feet wide. Make yourselves comfortable. Grab a jumper, a blanket, lie down on your sofa, don't mind. If you don't want to talk to us after, that's fine. You can stay having a little nap. So first of all, I want you to take a couple of long breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So keep breathing, and we do this to reduce your stress, reduce any anxiety that you might have. And sometimes our thoughts become all consuming, and it's really good, really important to just take some time out to look after our mental health, to power down. And just breathing can help you to do that. Just focusing on the breath. So I'm going to come into a belly breath. I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you want to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, you can do. So breathing normally means that your chest rises, your ribs rise. And that's okay, but we can really make a difference by belly breathing. So take a deep breath in and let that breath go down into your belly. So the belly rises when you breathe in. And as you breathe out, the belly falls. And try that again.
Could you just speak a little louder, please?
Sure. When you breathe in, as the belly rises, your ribs hardly move. So the belly moves, and as you breathe out, the ribs hardly move. The belly drops back to its original position. So take another deep breath in, right down into the belly, and then all the way out. And if you're happy to, on the next breath, take a breath in, into the belly, take a big breath out, all the way out, and just pause. And then breathe in again. Take a breath out and pause. And this just really lets your body come into that rest and digest phase. It allows recovery. And then just breathe normally. Drop your hands. Take a long breath in and a sigh out. Have a stretch if you need to. A yawn. Just start moving the hands through the wrists, circling. Lift the heels, the toes. Open your eyes. Put your hands together and give yourself a big fat round of applause for another week. Well done. Thank you for joining us at Move More. We'll see you next week. We'll send you the videos, and look out for us next week. Physios, if you want to stay on. And well, we'll all stay on. So thank you. See you next week.
The physios, don't they need to chat?
Yeah.